guys, it's your girl Kefato. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And if this is your first time of seeing me, my name is Oluwakemi, and thank you for stopping by, and do well to subscribe. To my old subscriber, thank you very much for always coming back to watch this baby girl. Thank you. So on this video we'll be talking about the misconception of social work in Nigeria, what people believe social workers do, which is not true, which is very, very wrong. So first of all, we've already spoken about, everybody know what social work is in Nigeria, right? We all know the meaning of social work, and we already know what social workers do. So now, moving on, one of the people believe social workers do in Nigeria is that they take away people's children from them, which is totally very wrong. It is totally wrong. It is not correct. Yeah, that belief is not correct. Yeah, so I need people to go and correct it right now. So social workers do not come to your house and take away your children. No, they don't do that. It is wrong. Yes, we work with hospitals, we work with schools, we work with communities, we work with the government sector and everything, but we do not go into people's house to take away their children. No, we don't do that. They believe social workers are poor. I mean, your brother idea that social workers are poor. Just come to me and tell me, why would they think social workers are poor? That's not true. That is not true. Fine. Social worker is not jobs like doctors, lawyer, what other jobs that there are a lot of jobs that are more, more, should I say, famous. Yeah, jobs that are famous, but so that does not mean social workers are poor. We work. Fine, I'm not yet working as a social worker, but I'm hoping to start working as a social worker once I'm done serving my country. Social worker work, we're not poor, please. Social workers are not poor. Thank you. Another misconception about social workers that is not true in Nigeria is that in Nigeria people believe social workers are the same as counselors, which is not true. Fine, we counsel, we offer therapy, we advocate, but we are not counselors. I mean, there's a course called guidance and counseling in Nigeria. That course is mainly for if you want to become a counselor. That is what the course is for. But social work is for social worker. Yeah. So now we don't do the same thing as counselors. We do beyond what counselor does in the society. We do beyond that. Another belief people think social worker does that is not true is that they believe work for poor people. They believe that the only work social worker does is to work for poor people. That is not true. We're not only here for poor people. We're here for the well-being of everybody in the society. We are here for the good functioning of people in the society. We're not here for poor people. Yes, we help tackle or fight against poverty, but that does not mean that's the main thing we do. That's totally wrong. That's not the main thing we do. It is part of what we do. Yeah, it is part of what we do. So another belief or another misconception about social work that is not true is that they believe social workers are charity worker. What do you mean social worker are charity worker? That is wrong. That is totally wrong. Yeah, we can work in organizations like NGO, charity organizations that that help people who cannot afford some stuff, or people who are dealing with poverty. We work in those NGOs, to help the services get to the right people, that need those services. But we are not charity work. Please know this. So another belief is that social worker, the only place we can work in is at the orphanage. That is wrong. Orphanage is not the only place we can work in. I mean, there's NGO, there's hospital, there's school. We work with the military. We work with we work with lawyers. Yeah, we work with lawyers. We work in cases, juvenile cases, forensics. There's a lot more to social work than people think in Nigeria. So we don't really work in orphanage. Yeah, we can offer our services in the orphanage, but we are not limited to only orphanage. That is totally wrong. That is not true. Please get your facts right. That is not true. That misconception about social worker is that there is no job opportunities in Nigeria for social worker. That is wrong. there are job opportunities in Nigeria, but the only difference is that the job will not come to you like that of doctors, lawyer. It won't just come to you. You have to pitch yourself for the job. You have to pitch yourself for those opportunities. You have to put yourself out there. You have to network. You have to connect yourself with people that will connect you to jobs like that. So there are jobs, there are various jobs, there are a lot of jobs, but they don't just come to you. You have to pitch yourself to those jobs. So it is wrong. There are job opportunities in Nigeria, but they are not as much as should I say the lawyers, doctors, psychologists, etc. like that. Those popular career. Yeah, popular career. So people believe social worker are the same thing as psychologists. Yeah, people in Nigeria think that as a social worker you are the same thing as a psychologist, which is totally wrong. Yeah, as a psychologist, psychologists focus mainly on mental well-being, behavioral and psychological assessments on that individual. But as a social worker, we think broader. Yeah, we go broader. We think about the family, the community, social factors, the individual well-being, not just the mental well-being. So we are not psychologists. Yeah, psychologist is mainly for your mental well-being, behavioral well-being, and psychological well-being. Another misconception about social worker in Nigeria is that social worker only help children. That is wrong. That is wrong. That is totally wrong. There are a lot of niche in social work, so you really want to select, pick the one you suits you, pick the one that interests you, that you want to go for. There are children's social worker, adult social worker, military social worker, school social worker, forensic social worker, a lot more, medical social worker or / clinical social worker, etc. a lot more. So social worker do not only help children, we help individual, we help everybody as a whole. Yeah, we help everybody as a whole. So let's get our facts right. People believe that social work is not a real job in Nigeria. Yeah, there's not how you want to explain to someone on what social workers do. They will still believe, most of them will still believe that is a real job in Nigeria. They still feel like, oh, what are you guys doing? Oh, you do that, you do this. Fine, okay. But that doesn't mean they accept or they just believe. No, they still feel like, what are you guys really doing anything? What's it that you are doing? That is wrong. Social work is a very good job. It's a real job that focuses on your not only mental well-being, your social functioning in the society. So another misconception about social work in Nigeria that is wrong, or should I say about social workers in Nigeria that is wrong, is that people believe social workers just give advice to people. That is wrong. We do more than giving advice to people. We do way more than giving advice to people. We conduct assessment, we link people to the right resources, we try to intervene. Yeah, we intervene when there's any issue arising. We intervene. We try to check for human being well-being in the society. We advocate for people. We offer assessment and implementation of plans on behalf of the welfare of the people. People think social worker can fix every problem. That is wrong. Totally wrong. We are not God. We are human beings like you. Yeah, we could be professional. We could try to fix the problem, but that doesn't mean we'll fix every issue. We don't fix every issue, please. Social workers are not God. We are humans. So people believe social worker can fix every problem, since your job or your job is all about trying to find solution to people's problem. Then you should be able to fix this problem. That is wrong. That is wrong. Social workers can't fix all problems. Yeah, we don't fix all problems. We are not fixer. We can only intervene. Another misconception is that they believe that social workers are not involved in healthcare. Like, what do you mean social workers are not involved in healthcare? That's wrong. People believe anyone who helps people is a social worker. That is wrong. What do you mean if I help someone, I'm a social worker? That is totally wrong. Because social work is a professional course. Yeah, it's a professional course that requires skills. You need to have the skills. You need to have evidence-based practice. You need to go through the training. You need to go through the training. You need to go to school. Because tell me what you mean by, if I help someone, I'm a social worker. You need professional training, and there are skills guiding social worker, or should I say there are core skills guiding social worker. We have core values guiding social worker. So if you don't know all these things, what do you mean you're a social worker? That's not true. So with these few points of mine, I hope I've been able to convince and not to confuse you on the belief you should have about social workers that is true, and the ones you should have about social worker that is not true, or that you should know about social worker that is not true. So stop thinking that way. So guys, we've come to the end of this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Don't forget to also comment. So see you in my next video. I don't know what next video we'll be shooting, but I'm sure it's going to interest you. So thank you very much to my old and new subscriber. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.